Hi, welcome back to Straight Line Persuasion, to Module 3, Tonality. And this is where the journey really begins here, because tonality, if anything, is the most important thing that you can learn to master when it comes to influencing and persuading another human being. See, I look at it as this, almost the hidden language of influence. You say a few words, but attached to those words, based on your tonality, is a much more powerful meaning that registers with someone on an emotional, not a logical, an emotional basis. So what you're going to learn here, in fact, are 29 different tonal patterns. And you're saying, 29, how could I learn that? Don't worry about it. You'll learn to master this very, very easily. It'll become second nature to you. You'll become unconsciously competent. And I've been through this, thousands of times, as I said before. And the tonality aspect, while it's the easiest to master, it is the most powerful tool you can ever learn as an influencer. So again, I want you to make sure you take specific actions here as you're watching. Write in your workbook, make those notes, and make sure you play full out with this module. And you're going to see here, as I go through it, how in a script, and we always have a script, by the way, even if it's not in front of us, if you're in person, the script is in your head. You're going to learn how in the first few seconds with a script in your head or on paper, using specific tonalities, you're going to establish those very powerful things, that you're an expert, that you're sharp as a tack, that you're enthusiastic as all hell, and most importantly, that you care. See, at the end of the day, people will do business with people they like and they know that care, not just someone with necessarily the best product. Now, of course, you want to have the best product too, but more importantly is to develop that unconscious connection, what we call rapport. But rapport is not about, talking about the price of tea in China if he mentions China. Rapport happens on an unconscious level through things like pacing and leading, which you'll learn about, things called matching and mirroring. These are the unconscious ways of developing rapport that actually set you up to close the sale, to influence somebody down the road. See, the tricks here, and almost they are tricks, by the way, but I don't mean in a bad way. What they are is they're these little sort of unconscious triggers that bypass the logical mind and allow you to talk to someone directly to their heart. And at the end of the day, it's really the emotion that you create in somebody that truly closes the deal. The logical part has to be there too, and you'll see I'm a big believer in creating logical cases as well. But at the end of the day, people will buy based on emotion and they'll justify with logic. It begins with tonality. It begins with your ability to create specific emotions in the prospect at specific times, and you'll learn what those times are, and most importantly, to develop that trust, that unconscious rapport, and to use the same tonal patterns, not just for the open, but for the close and every step in between. That's the bottom line. So remember, play full out here. I want you to take the workbook out if you haven't taken it out already, and go through this one with an eagle eye here, and also with your ears wide open. And you're going to practice your tonal patterns, and you will see this instantly. In fact, tomorrow, as soon as you go out there and use this, you will be absolutely shocked at the impact this has on your ability to persuade and influence. So go to it, and I'll see you soon. Okay, this script, okay, pretend for a second, we're going to play full out that this is the script you're trading for your business. Okay? And it's a very simple script, okay? It says, hi, is John there? Hi, John, this is Jordan Belfort calling from Global Capital in Tampa, Florida. How's it going today? Great. Now, if you recall, you attended a seminar last Thursday night over at the Marriott Hotel with one of our top traders, James Arnell. Does that ring a bell? Blah, 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 right? Now, if you read the words on the script that way, you've destroyed yourself. You have destroyed yourself. I'm going to show you a way to read the words on this script. So literally, by the time that you are done, not only have you established these three things, like to the point where the person is hanging on your every word, but you've also established that you care about them, that you're a reasonable person, that you're trustworthy, that you're empathetic, that you have their best interest, right? All that in one paragraph. Now, you're saying, well, you can't do all that in one paragraph. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Now, is it established to the point where they're like, just do whatever you say? No. What you're doing in this paragraph is you're laying the groundwork. You're pacing and leading them. It's called pacing and leading. You're laying the groundwork for these people to follow you throughout a 10, 15, or 30-minute sale. And by the way, the sale could be stretched out to 3 days. And it could be for a $2 million product at the highest level of sales. This system doesn't have to be like a 1-call close. It could be a 5-call close if that's what is needed for your product. It could be the longest relationship sale at the highest level of business. It could be about closing a $50 billion deal for a takeover. Doesn't matter. It all starts here. The tonal patterns that you're going to use here in this first paragraph are going to translate to the entire sale, to everything you do, even after the sale's closed. You're going to train yourself to speak like influencers, not like average people. If you want to speak like an average person, you're going to be average. There's a different level above average. It's extraordinary. And in sales, to be extraordinary, you need to master the art of tonality. How to speak to people so you capture their imagination in a second. How do you create scarcity without saying, it's scarce, it's scarce? You don't create scarcity like that. Scarcity is with a tone of voice and some appropriate words and a pattern of language. But tonality is what really makes something seem scarce, or something that's a secret, something that's really, really important, like when I lower my voice. Now, you all do this right now anyway, but you're not doing it in probably a very deliberate way. What we're going to do the next hour when we get back from break is we're going to get really, really deliberate with tonality to the point where you're like, oh my, you're going to be, oh my God, I did not know the emotions I can create in people by lowering my voice or raising up at the end of a sentence. You're going to say, you're going to start to see how powerful this stuff is. And you're going to realize, what you're going to do is you're going to realize that, A, if I do that, they're not going to close right now. But if I do this through the entire sale, and I have the right structure, and I can crack through their limiting buying beliefs, make them trust me as they should, make them trust my company as they should. And by the way, if you're working for a crappy company with a crappy product, my advice, get out now. Get out now. Because you're going to sell, because you'll take this system, you'll make a fortune, you'll hurt people. Okay? You've got to be selling a great product and working for a great company. I think you all are. I want to show you how literally every word in one paragraph and every sentence into itself, how the words are spaced out, your pacing, the pauses, every little thing in this one paragraph matters immensely. It's hugely important. And you're going to see how you're going to capture their imagination and develop these 3 things literally in 4 seconds flat. And then in the first paragraph, by the time you're done, they'll be reinforced that much more. So what I want to show you right now is how you're going to capture somebody's attention in literally 4 seconds flat. And we're going to play full out here. I want 2 volunteers from the audience. What we're going to do now is this, all right? Now, if you notice, I wrote this script. Wrote it about 8 months ago. I know it by heart. But you're going to watch that I'm going to hold the script, and I'm actually going to read from the script whenever I do this. Because I'm telling you, the key to success in sales is you take out as many variables as you can from the equation. You control what you can control, because there's a lot of stuff you can't control. Okay, so if I have a script that's perfect, and I know this script is perfect because it's been tested and it works, this script will convert everybody who's convertible as long as you say the words the right way. Now, I want you to be very conscious. I was going to run an exercise, and I was going to start off with an imperfect script and show you how hard it is to use a script that's imperfect. I wrote the first generation was imperfect. In other words, when you're writing scripts, you're writing scripts for your company. A lot of you write scripts, right? Remember that a script is a work in progress until it gets to the point when it's perfect. And when you know it's perfect, it's been refined, it's been tested, then you lock it in. When you're going about writing a script, remember that when you write words down, it's slightly different than the spoken word. Certain words are contracted. Certain words are dropped completely in conversational English. And most importantly, you sound like a novice by not contracting words, and you sound like a stranger. The idea is that when you speak to somebody on the phone, even though you don't know them and they don't know you, you want to capture it in the familiar. that you're a friend to friend. It's not like, hello, Mr. Jones, this is Jordan Belfort. How are you today? He's like, what the hell? Who's this salesman calling me? That's the first thing they think, okay? So when you pick up the phone to call somebody, now pretend right now we're going to run this exercise right here as if we're going to try to be selling seminars, and someone actually in this room is selling seminars, okay? And it's actually you, right? Okay, perfect. Perfect sale. Okay, now, so here's what we're going to do. I want you to listen to how I read this script. And I'm going to read this script with a specific tonality, okay, which is the right tonality, which is going to capture every single person in the first couple of seconds. Now, I'm going to do it real quickly. I'm going to do just the first line, okay? So I say, hi, is John there? And he says, yeah, this is John. Hey, John, this is Jordan Belfort calling from Global Capital in Tampa, Florida. How's it going today? That's the opening script. Now you say, well, what's the big deal about that, right? There's a lot of a big deal about that, okay? Because if you say it in a different way, you're going to lose maybe 10, 15, or 20% of a person's confidence, their focus, and their mind will start racing and going off in a different direction based on how you say these words. Now listen closely again, okay? And then I'm going to have them do it, and you're going to see the difference. Watch. Say, hi, is John there? First few words, right? Hi, John, this is Jordan Belfort calling from Global Capital in Tampa, Florida. How's it going today? Okay, now let's hear you say this. Start off, okay? We'll say, hi, is John there?
Hi, John there.
Right here.
Hi, John, this is Paul Bloom calling from... Wow, I messed up.
Don't worry about it. It's fine. Keep going.
From Global Capital in Tampa, Florida. How's it going today?
Okay, no problem. Don't worry about the words. The words are easy to master. That's no big deal. It's not what I'm getting at here. The huge blunder that you made was like on the second word, though, okay? Now just watch. Okay, you say, hi, is John there?
Hi, is John there?
Okay, hi, is John there? Which is better, his or mine? Mine. Not in the same league. 99% of the salespeople that are working for you, if you're a sales manager, okay, or you yourself, whether you're good or bad, you will not say the first 3 words the right way. And instantly he knows that you're Sergey. Don't kid yourself. It starts right here. You're going to capture with the first 3 words, okay? The guy is going to know, boom, power. I'm talking to someone that's A, an authority figure, B, they're sharp, B, they're... Did he sound sharp? No, he's nervous, of course. He's on the stage. That's fine, okay? But did he sound sharp? He didn't say, he sounded like, well, just some other guy called me on the telephone. You're entering somebody's world. You call somebody up, you knock on their door, they look at you, you are entering their world, okay? Most people's world is not full of excitement. It's not full of positive energy. It's full of boredom and tediousness and averageism. When you come in there, bam, with excitement, they want to speak to you. If you come in there dull and humdrum like another, what do I need this for in my life? I already got enough of that. Now, you're not like, hi, is John there? You're not going to do that, right? But it's, hi, is John there? Boom. Instant, I'm enthusiastic, I have something. Do you understand that when you say that, they realize you have something? If you say it right, they know you have something important because you're enthusiastic. Don't kid yourself. The picture is forming. Okay, hi, is John there? I'm excited, I'm upbeat. It's critical, mission critical for any person on the phone, okay? In fact, I'll tell you a story because it goes to sales in person too, and ultimately we do meet most of our customers at one time or another, okay? Or we should, okay, if it's possible. I was in the mortgage business. I made a fortune in the mortgage business. After I got in trouble with the stocks, as you know, okay, I had to go to jail. I spent 22 months in jail. And the fact that I have the life I have now where I go around the world and speak to massive crowds is a miracle unto itself. And it was a long way back to this point right now and a lot of struggle. And I sincerely hope that most of you will never have to know the crap that I went through. Being separated from my kids, and it was awful. It really, really, I hope you cannot empathize with me because it was awful, okay? But there was a window after I got in trouble and before I went to jail where I actually started a mortgage company and I built it into a huge company like in a year, which was not that difficult in 2001. If any of you know, we're in the mortgage business. It was very easy to do, but I built it very quickly and I came up with this idea to go door to door. for mortgages, because I started off in door-to-door sales, my first thing. I said, I could walk down the street when rates had just dropped. I could walk down the street to any store, and the business owner must own a house. I'll just say, hey, what rate you paying? And the guy will say, I'm paying 8.5. Really? I could save you a ton of money. How hard is that to do, right? So I came up with that idea, and I wrote this little script, and I said to my partner, his wife, I said, come on, you come with me, okay, and we're going to go up to some place. Now, understand this. I want you to learn a lesson here. I already was making $50 million a year for many years. I was in the newspapers all the time. I was well known as the Wolf of Wall Street, all this crap, right? And you would think that I was too proud, maybe, at the age of 40 to go knocking on doors. I was banging on doors till my knuckles bled. Never ask a salesperson to do something that you wouldn't do yourself. They won't respect you, they won't listen to you, and also you can't possibly perform as a manager, as a trainer, at the highest level unless you have done it yourself, okay? I think one reason you listen to me, you guys know I'm the real deal. I'm not just, this is not theory. I use this to make hundreds of millions of dollars and turn morons into closers, okay? It works. It works, okay? So I took my partner's wife, I said, listen, I gave her a quick training, said, I'm gonna go down the right side of the street and you go down the left side of the street, okay? She's like, okay, great. You know, she's a really nice girl, right? So we're going to New Rochelle, where I figure hopefully no one will recognize me when I walk in the door, right? So I go it's like maybe 30 miles away. I have a little bit of pride left, all right? So I go down. The first person I walk in, it's like a not interested. Second person, DeRosa Seafood. I walk in, the guy behind the counter in a fish market said, hey, is the owner around? He goes, yeah, I'm the owner. Hey, my name's Jordan. I'm a mortgage broker. I'm doing refis. What are you paying? He goes, he goes, like, are you kidding me? I could save you a ton of money. Open up my book, boom, boom. In 5 minutes, I closed the deal and made $8,000. 5 minutes. $8,000, all right? I go down 2 more rejections. The fourth door, bam, a hair salon. I close the guy who's selling hairbrushes to make $11,000 on one street in 2 hours, all right? I make my way down the rest of the street, no more sales, all right? I go to the other side of the street. My partner's wife, Shelly, the nicest woman in the world, okay? She walked around with a Bible. She was a really God-fearing woman, a great woman, okay? And I walk down, and I see her sitting on a bench crying. Okay, she's like, what's wrong? She says, nobody wants any mortgages. They don't want anything. I'm like, what are you talking about? I just made 20 grand, Shelly. She's like, what do you mean? No one wants anything. I'm like, did you go to all these stores? She's like, yeah, I walked in every store and they threw me out. I'm like, follow me, okay? I take her back to the first store, nothing. Third store, boom, I hit $8,000 in a jewelry store. The same store she walked in, I walked in 5 minutes or 30 minutes later and closed the person that threw her out. Next, 3 stores down, boom, a body shop. This guy, I forgot his name. I made $12,000 in a body shop. She went into the body shop. She set up and was like, get out of here. No soliciting. Now, what was that about? It was from the first second I walked in the door and opened up my mouth, bam. I was enthusiastic, sharp as house, and most importantly, a figure of authority. It was something that came off in the first couple of seconds. You know who Jacob the jeweler is? Famous jeweler. Anyone know Jacob the jeweler? Okay, couple. Famous big-time jeweler. So now I build this mortgage company, right? And it's rocking and it's rolling. And I'm like 45 people, and I'm making a lot, millions of dollars a year, right? And I'm still going out, and I love selling door to door. I get off on it. So once a week, I would take 3 sales with me, and I'd go out, I'd just walk and knock on doors and make 50, 60 grand, like clockwork, all right? So I go and said, I'm going to go to the jewelry district in New York, where there's just booths and booths and booths. Anyone from New York and Michael's, right? Where there's like literally 500, they're just concentrating, they're all owners. I'm like, what could be better than this? I'll make a bloody fortune. So I go into the jewelry district, right? And I go down with these 3 salesmen in tow. I make $100,000 in an afternoon. $100,000. Finally, I loop around to the other side of the street, nothing. I walk into some really big thing, big store, right? And it's like one giant booth in the back. And I walk in with my little crew. I walk right up to some woman. I give her my pitch. And she's like, I'm paying 7.5. And then she says a couple, she says, why am I talking to you? I'm like, what do you mean? Because I never talk to, I throw everybody out of the store. Why am I talking to you? It was Jacob's wife, Angela Arabov, okay? I don't understand why I'm talking to you. Before I knew it, I was upstairs with Jacob in his office. I made $17,000 refining their house in Forest Hills, Queens. I was at their house for dinner that night. They did not know who I was. They did not know who I was simply because my rap of confidence, the aura that I had, that I was sharp as a tack and I was an expert, Jacob told me to screw off. I was like, screw off yourself. I was pacing him and leading him, matching and mirroring, being just like him, right? Angela Araba, to this day, okay, she never considered I throw everyone out, but I did business with you. Why? Because the first second I walked in the door, I was different. I captured her imagination. So when I say to you, like, hey, is John there? I ain't kidding. Okay? If you are a salesperson and you're hammering away, you got people on the phone, a big crew of people, just that alone will increase you up this much. Now, you're going to close sales, but no. But this is called the art of, ready for this? This is a great lesson. This is called, okay, this is called the art, I can't write. The art, I'm an author too. The art of not blowing it. That's what this is. Here's the mistake so many people make, okay? If this is your straight line, okay, and you're qualifying over here, and then you're presenting here, and you're closing here, right? Okay, the mistake people make is they think the sale starts here. When they start presenting, the sale starts the moment you pick up your phone. You're closing with your tone. You're closing by establishing the 3 magic bullets. That I am what? That's number 1, sharp as a tack. 2, what? Enthusiastic as hell. I can't write, you see this? Enthusiastic as hell. B, I am a force to be reckoned with. An authority figure, an expert in my field. That's how I got upstairs to Jacob's office. That's how I made $3 million a year from a dead stop after the government had taken all my money, and deservedly so. Because I had a company, let me tell you something, I invented the straight line out of frustration of trying to take 19-year-old kids with little education and make them into killers who could talk to the wealthiest men and women in America and extract money from them. Not $5,000, millions. We would call people all across the country, and they would send us, one guy would send us $4 million. $4 million. For a stock he never heard of, to a brokerage firm he never heard of, to a salesman who usually still had pimples on his face from acne. They'd send in millions and millions. I raised, I think, like $3 billion in my heyday, all because of the straight line. All because of the straight line, and it started off with the first word. Now, the mistake I made, here's the thing, 95% of what I did in business was strictly legitimate. Legit, all legit. I was raising money for companies. Steve Madden Shoes, I'm sure you know that company, right? It's my company. Not only did I take it public, I owned it. 85% of Steve Madden Shoes was mine. Steve was a minority partner. He owned 15%. He came to me looking for money for venture capital. You do venture capital over here, right? Came looking for venture capital. All right, I gave him $1 million. I said, he had one ugly shoe. It was the ugliest shoe I'd ever seen. It was called the Maryland, a big, chunky Western clog, right? He goes, I got the shoe. I don't care about the goddamn shoe. How much you need? $1 million. I said, great. Give me 85% of your company. Here's $1 million. He said, great. Steve was fresh out of rehab. Okay, sober for like 22 years now, Steve. Okay? Next day, I turned around. I sold off 30% of my stake for $1 million. Get the picture? I was in for free. I owned 55% of Steve Madden Shoes. It was a startup. The company now is worth over $1 billion, not million, $1 billion from that little tiny investment. That was the business that I was in. I was in venture capital. I raised money using the straight line. All legal, perfectly legal, nothing wrong with it. Sales tactics, a lot of pressure, more than there should have been. Not legal, not legal. High pressure, not ethical, not illegal. The mistake that I made is that the straight line was so powerful and raised so much money that I could not keep up with the onslaught of buying coming in from around the world. People from not just U.S., all over the world, kept coming in and coming in. If I was smart, I would have slowed down my business and not hired as many salespeople, and I would have made less money up front and be worth probably $5 billion right now. but instead I took as much as I could get, the buying, and just putting more product out there. And you know what? I started putting crap out there. The manufacturing couldn't keep up with sales. Stocks started to go up artificially. That's how I got in trouble. And I was manipulating stocks. Just like that. I did not start off wanting to do that. What I'm saying is the reason I'm telling you this story. A lot of you, especially who own companies here, but you're going to notice that you're going to put this stuff in place and your business is really going to soar. They're going to soar quickly. Like, you'll see, boom. Just don't let it go out of control. You need to have the other side of the equation. You know, if it's loan mods or credit repair, okay, you got to be delivering the service that you promise with a straight line. You can't deliver them crap, or else it's going to reverse on you and implode, and you'll end up like I did, having to start over again. Thankfully, the skill set, the system, allows me to go out from a dead stop anywhere without, you know, flush me down the toilet bowl. I get the license, right? I come back up with the plumber's license. That's what this does, and it'll do it for you too. But learn from my mistakes, okay? You know, you take this system, which is all powerful, and put it with the best product at the best price, and bam, you will have a life that you will not imagine. Let's go back to this real quick here, okay? Hi, is John there, okay? So he says that, say, hey, John, this is Jordan Belfort calling from Global Capital in Tampa, Florida. How's it going today? Okay? Let me hear you say that. Hi, John.
Hi, John. This is Paul Bloom calling from Global Capital in Tampa, Florida.
Okay, stop. He said, this is Global Capital in Tampa, Florida, right? Watch this, okay? Huge mistake. Forget that he's stumbling on the words. That's irrelevant, because you fix that. You read it 10 times, he'll know the words. That's just because he's nervous. Don't even worry about it, okay? He said Global Capital in Tampa, Florida, right? So he says Global Capital, downbeat, in Tampa, Florida. Downbeat. That's called a declarative. Global Capital in Tampa, Florida, right? And you know what he's saying? Who gives a shit? Really? Or he's saying, sorry, who gives a damn? Okay? Who gives a crap about Global Capital in Tampa, Florida? Because all you gave him was some information. So now you say Global Capital. Let's hear it again. Say Global Capital in Tampa, Florida. Say it.
Global Capital in Tampa, Florida.
Perfect. Okay, that's declarative. Now watch this. Okay? Now I'm going to do what's called infer a micro-agreement, okay, by raising up my voice at the end. Watch this. Hi, John. This is Jordan Belfort calling from Global Capital in Tampa, Florida. Right? Tampa, Florida? Tampa, Florida? When you raise your voice up like that, what you're doing is saying, right, you recall, don't you? This works every time, okay? Global Capital, upbeat. When you raise your voice at the end of a word, his unconscious dialogue searches for, should I know this? Right, right. My daughter was the greatest salesman on earth at the age of 5. You told me, Dad, you were taking me to the store, right? Right? I'm like, she short-circuits my brain. Now, I know I didn't tell her that she's going for ice cream or a toy, but she goes, you know, she would say to me, Dad, you're going for to the toy, right? Now, you can't say to the guy, I'm from Global Capital, right? Right? You seem like a fool. But by raising your voice up at the end of the words, watch, you're inferring two micro-agreements in one sentence. You're saying, Global Capital in Tampa, Florida? How's it going today? He's like, okay. You short-circuited his, he's like, yeah, I guess I heard of Global Capital in Tampa, Florida. That's what his unconscious dialogue is doing now. It switches, okay? Now, again, is he going to close because you did this? No. But that same tonality is going to be used about 300 times in the overall script to generate the precise emotion, the precise agreement that you need for him to break his limiting buying beliefs, to know that he can trust you, to know that you care about him. Okay, I see some ahas going around the room right now. Okay, this is going to be a lot of ahas in the next 30 minutes. Okay, this is the golden ticket. Okay, one paragraph can change everything for your sales force or you as a salesperson. And we're going to do this through the whole script and then get into the straight line, which is almost freaking evil. That's how effective it is. And I swear, please, I'll say it again. And I was, you know, for years, people wanted me to teach. I wouldn't teach it because I was, after what happens, I'll never do that. And I said, I'm stupid. Of course I could teach it. You got to just teach the ethics too. Okay? This is powerful. So, okay, he says that. Now let's go to you. Okay? So I say, how's it going today? So what do you say? Oh, good. I say, great. Not great or not great. Okay, great. Okay, great means I'm genuinely happy to hear that. You couldn't say, great, I'm really happy to hear that. You'd say, what a disingenuous asshole that is, right? So what you're going to say is great. Okay, now let's hear next words. Great, now if you recall, okay, yeah, great. Now if you recall.
Now, if you recall, we attended a seminar last Thursday night over at the Marriott Hotel with one of our top Forex traders, James Darnell. Does that ring a bell?
Okay, now, what did she do right? What did she did a couple things really well there, okay? Either you did it before, you learned from what I just said, but she raised her, couple of things, she raised her voice up very effectively. Number one, at James Arnell, okay? Starts off like this. The first thing she did that was brilliant, okay, she said, now, if you recall, she didn't say that. She said, now, if you recall, and she added what's called the tone of mystery. Okay, write that down, the tone of mystery. When you say to someone, now, if you recall, okay, say it your way. Say, now, if you recall.
Now, if you recall.
Okay, now, if you recall, which one sounds better? First or the second? Second, maybe slightly, right? Now, say, now, if you recall.
Now, if you recall.
Okay, down a notch. He hasn't got it yet. That's fine. You're gonna get this stuff, and you're gonna become what's called unconsciously competent at this stuff. That's where you're gonna get to very, very. It's easy once you figure you'll crack the code. We'll do it. No big problem. So he says, now, if you recall, that's what 97% of the salesmen on earth will say. They'll go through the script like this. They'll say, hi, is John there? Great. Hi, John. This is Jordan Belvoir calling from Global Capital in Tampa, Florida. How's it going today? The guy's like, what an asshole I got on the phone right now. Another salesperson. That's where you're at when you do it that way. Say, great. Now, if you recall, okay, done. He's like, no, I don't recall. I don't recall. Now, if you, by saying, now, if you recall, he's like, what? He's like, what? The tonality switches up something in his brain, and he tries to recall because he does not want to be thought a fool. What you're saying is, now, if you recall, he's like, do I? That split second that you stop him from saying, what an asshole, allows you to move forward down the straight line. If you miss the opportunity, he's off the line. You get it? He's off the line, okay? He's already monitoring, his mind's going off in someplace else. He just wants to end the call, and you've blown it, and now you're gonna play serious catch-up ball, okay? Why is it that you have some people that are top producers? What is it? Is it an accident? It's never an accident. Some people are born closers. All that means is a born closer is they've unconsciously mastered the art of tonality, controlling a sale, okay? The straight line allows you to kind of grab that back if you're not a born closer and make yourself into a trained closer. That's what it does. So now we'll move forward, okay? Global Capital in Tampa, Florida. Okay, hasn't great. Now, if you recall, now listen to me say it. If you recall, you attended a seminar last Thursday night over at the Marriott Hotel. Up. He's like, right? Okay. We've one of our top Forex traders, Clive Arnell. Does that ring a bell? I have 4 micro agreements in there. It's like, right. And he's saying, right. He's like, yeah. And he's saying, yeah, and you get it. You've led the guy on to the next thought. Versus saying to the guy, okay, do the whole thing now, if you recall.
Now, if you recall, we attended a seminar last Thursday night at the Marriott Hotel with one of our top Forex traders, James Darnell. Does that ring a bell?
Good. He said she had Marriott Hotel versus Marriott Hotel. Over at the Marriott Hotel, capture the tonality. Try it again. At the Marriott Hotel?
The Marriott Hotel.
Good. With one of our top Forex traders?
With one of our top Forex traders, James Darnell.
Top Forex traders, right? Raise your voice up.
With one of our top Forex traders, James Darnell.
Does that ring a bell?
Does that ring a bell?
Good. Okay. Now, it's a little choppy because she's just done it for the first time here. But what happens is when you do this with 3 micro agreements or 4 in one sentence, the person will just say, yeah, I have, whether he has or hasn't. Because people do not want to be thought to be out of the loop. Okay, let's hear you say it now. Great. Now, if you recall.
Great. Now, if you recall,
Okay.
we attended a seminar last.
Stop now. Here, ready? Say, now, if you recall, I want you to narrow your eyes when you say that.
Now, if you recall.
No. Go like this. If you're like trying to figure something out, I'm going to teach you something called a physiological trigger right now, okay? We're going to go through this a little bit more in detail. But what happens is you have certain physiological triggers that will allow you to capture a tonality. Some people, when they want to sound certain, they tap their hand. Like, they go like this, and they sound certain. Other people, when I say, whoa, no big deal, if I'm on the phone, I say, listen, it's just a matter of a very simple thing. I'll push my hands out, and I do the gesture, despite that they can't see me, because they can see me. Okay? You can create a gesture by moving your body a certain way. And we're going to do an exercise tomorrow where you're actually going to learn what your own gestures are and figure out how to get yourself into certainty, scarcity, very powerful. So what I want you to do now, one of the things that works with this now, if you recall, see how I narrow my eyes a little bit? Now, if you recall, so say it, narrow your eyes like a little bit, almost like it's a mystery. Try it now, say it.
Now, if you recall,
Better, okay. You attended a seminar, so.
you attended a seminar last Thursday night over at the Marriott Hotel with one of our top Forex traders, James Arnell. Does that ring a bell?
Okay, you got James Arnell right now. Let's go. One of our top Forex traders.
With one of our top, sorry.
Don't worry.
With one of our top Forex traders,
James Arnell.
James Arnell.
Does that ring a bell?
Does that ring a bell?
3 agreements together. Now watch. I want to show you something very important. Sounding like the expert, okay? What sounds better to you? Ready? These are the words. With one of our, right? So if you're speaking to somebody in conversational English and trying to influence them, okay? If I say to you, at the Marriott Hotel with one of our top Forex traders, Clive Arnell, okay? I don't sound sharp as a tack because, frankly, the words with, one, and of an hour are really irrelevant. They need to be put together into one word to sound boom, to the point, okay? So I'd say with one of our. This is how people sound interesting. Remember Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Who's seen the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Hi, my name is so-and-so. Remember the teacher? He goes, Bueller, we're talking about the economic depression in 1934, and they had the Smoot-Hawley Act, right? And all the kids are like, snoring. What is that? That's the exaggeration of the world's worst tonality and pacing, right? Every word is said with the same tone, the same beat and staccato, right? That puts someone to sleep. The brain habituates, okay? If you're listening to the radio, it's bom, 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 you turn the station. You habituate. You don't want to hear it, right? So if you say to someone, one of our top Forex traders, okay, the expert says with one of our top Forex traders, not with one of our top Forex traders. That's what a novice says. And is a novice sharp as a tack? No. Is he an expert? No. You don't think that the reason I walked down the street and she walked down the street and we got 2 different results was because of that? It was just that. I walked in, hey, what are you paying on your mortgage? Not, what are you paying on your mortgage? What rate are you paying? Or what rate are you paying? No, what rate are you paying on your mortgage? Boom, I'm in a rush. Either you want it or you don't. This is so powerful for people, especially on the phone, and a lot of your opening calls come on the phone because it's the easiest way to qualify, okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to contract these words together. So it's going to be the Marriott Hotel with one of our top, not with one of our top, it's with one of our, you get it? Your stress words are Forex trader James Arnell, right? So it's not with one of our top Forex traders, James Arnell. It's one of our top Forex traders, James Arnell. Does that ring a bell? So let's hear that. You try it.
With one of our top Forex.
Bingo. You hear the difference? You catch that difference? Now you're saying, well, does that make it? It makes a big difference when you're here in the sale, okay? When you're here and you're trying to make points, really salient points, and get to a close. Those ways you group the words together. You need to learn what words to group together and what words stand out. That's how you keep somebody's attention, okay? One of our top Forex traders, James Arnell.
With one of our top Forex traders, James Arnell.
Does that ring a bell?
Does that ring a bell?
Much better. Okay, great. Say it. Yeah, it does.
Okay, great.
Now. Yeah, keep reading.
Okay, great. Well, the reason for the call today is that you're one of the last of our group that hasn't actually enrolled yet.
Okay, stop. Ready? He says, okay, great. Now, the reason for the call today, okay, is that you're one of the last of the group who hasn't enrolled yet, right? You say, okay, great. Now, the reason for the call today, which one sounds better, his or mine? Okay? They're in the same league? Say it. Say the first one. Go. Now, the reason for the call, say it.
The reason for the call.
Okay, now, the reason for the call. Okay, by dropping your voice, okay, you imply that you have something that's a secret and that it's scarce and it's very specific. You're going to learn, this is one of the most powerful techniques of all to closing, okay, is dropping your voice when you have something that's a secret to imply scarcity. Not that often you can hear about this, get it while it lasts, okay? I say to someone, if you want someone to listen, you yell. If you want them to really listen, you whisper. There is so much power in a whisper, especially when they know that you have this thing I called, write this down, bottled enthusiasm. There's something that you have in here. It's like a chi that you have as a salesperson. It's this sort of ability that they know you are so enthusiastic and so spot on and sharp as a tack. They know it's there. They know it's there. And it can be unleashed at any second. And when you don't use it, they respect you more. If you come off sharp as a tack, I'm sharp as a tack, you lose it. You're done. Sharp as a tack becomes boring and dull. I'm sharp as a tack, and the reason for the call is this. Very simple. If you have 60 seconds, I want to share the idea with you. Got a minute? Not, got a minute? People say, got a minute? What sounds better? Got a minute or got a minute? Are they in the same league? Do they get the same response? What does got a minute mean? They're like, oh, shit. They're like, I don't know. This guy's, what is he going to ram down my throat? Or, got a minute? It's no big deal. We're two reasonable guys. We all have minutes. You imply, write this down, the reasonable man. Got a minute? You do that, you disarm somebody. Immediately, he's like, well, yeah, I got a minute. Yeah, of course, I'm a reasonable guy. You're a reasonable guy. I'm a reasonable guy. Throughout the entire presentation, at strategic points, you're going to imply reasonability. Especially when you're asking him to start committing to stuff. It's reasonable, isn't it? Got a minute? Got a minute? Got a minute? They all mean different things. 9% of communication, guys and girls, is words. 9%. 91% is tonality and body language. And when you're on the phone, which a lot of us are, especially in the beginning, 91% is tonality, because you create the image through tonality. Simple as that. You must master tonality or you're wasting your time as a salesperson. And by the way, it's what charisma is all about. Charisma. It's about tonality, about making yourself so interesting. It's not the way you look even. It's the energy, that bottled chi that's inside you that can come out at any moment, but's held in check. People would say to me, well, I get on the phone with people and they ramble on. No one rambles when they're on the phone with me because they know better. Not that I'm going to hurt them. I'm 5'7", 150 pounds on a good day, okay? It's because they understand that I'm an expert, I'm sharp, I got it. They don't want to piss me off. Does that mean they're going to buy? No. Because remember, we have those buying archetypes, right? Only certain people will ever buy. But I know that if I do it like this, everyone who can possibly buy will buy from me, not from somebody else. The worst fate for a salesperson is that you couldn't close them and somebody else did. That's the worst. That's the low point. Not that you pitched 10 people and no one bought. That's A-okay. That's the numbers game, like the sales funnel. The worst is they didn't buy from you and they bought from the next guy. Simple as that. So we go through the script. We get to this point now. Great. Well, the reason for the call, and you drop your voice to imply scarcity. So let's hear you do it. Great. Okay, great. Well.
Okay, great. Well, the reason for the call today is that you're one of the last of the group who hasn't actually enrolled yet. And if you have 60 seconds, I'd like to share an idea with you. You got a minute?
Let's do it and say, okay, great.
Okay, great.
Okay, now say it like you get it on the phone. I say yes. Okay, stop, let me go back, right? You say, does that ring a bell? I say, yeah, it does. Now what do you say?
Okay, great.
Okay, now keep going.
Well, the reason for the call.
Stop. Now, well, the word well is a transition word, okay? Write that down, the transition words. Well, but, now. These are crucial words in your script and in your sales that allow you to completely flip tonality and pause and create a new emotion. Do you understand that when you're closing, it's about managing the other person's emotion? To create a specific emotion, bum, 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 and the precise emotion you want at the right time, when everything else is in line, then you look for that emotion to say, you know what, I want to do business with this person. That X factor, you're managing someone's emotion, okay? Those transition words allow you to manage emotion more effectively. So the transition word is well. In the second sentence, it's now, okay? So you'd say, okay, great. Okay, now when she says, you say, okay, great.
Okay, great.
You say it, okay, great.
Okay, great.
And I say, okay, great. Which is better? The third, right? Raise your hand if the third is better. Of course, they're not in the same league. Now, you could say that. You just got to learn how. It's like, okay, great. Okay, great. Thank God we can move on to the next step now. You get that's the words that you're implying. Okay, great. Like, I have what? What does that say? I'm what? Enthusiastic. Remember, let's put these three things back on the board here. We'll point to them with every single, what are we accomplishing? And you'll notice with each thing you do, you're accomplishing one. Sharp as attack, you're sharp, enthusiastic, okay, and a force. Those three things. A force, an expert, or an authority figure, okay? I say, okay, great. Where am I? Enthusiastic, right? Yes or no? Yes, okay. Now, so say, okay, great.
Okay, great.
Better, okay? Not, okay, great. You said it just right. They'll say, this person needs to be committed, okay? Okay? So, again, I'm going to show you that there's this kill zone that you have to learn in your own voice, and that kill zone of tonality is when you're right, dead on, balls accurate. And when you're there, you're going to be just like, you'll know it. That's when you're in the zone. Those days when everyone that you know, they're just laying down with you, that's what's happening. You're in the zone and you're controlling their emotions with the tone of voice, and everyone's saying yes, like, wow, I had a really good day. I don't know why. Now you know why. Okay? So let's go, great. Say now, okay, great. Well, the reason for the call.
Okay, great. Well, the reason for the call.
Okay, ready? Now watch this. Ready? Great. Now, well, what you do is you start off here. You're like, well, and you're here, okay? He's here in tonality, right? Well, to drop to the reason for the call, he has to go down too low. The mistake you have is you're not starting off high enough. You have to give yourself a place to go. So if you say, well, the reason for the, you can't get there. It's like, well, the reason for the call. So you go up on well. Your transition word creates the power for your next phrase. So if your transition word is going to be go to a state of scarcity, you want to say your transition word higher and then drop down, okay, to the secret to scarcity. So say, great, well.
Okay, great. Well, the reason for the call today is...
The reason, say the reason for the call today.
The reason for the call
Keep going. Now.
Is that you're one of the last of the group.
Okay, ready? Say one of the last of the group. Put all the words into one word. One of the last of the group. Let's hear it.
One of the last of the group.
Bingo. That's how you speak like an influencer. One of the last of the group, not one of the last of the group. You're done. What are you not here? He's not what? Sharp as attack. They know it. They know it. Okay? One of the top traders. One of the last of the group. Not one of the last of the group, like the guy's reading from a fucking script. They know it in 2 seconds flat. But just looking at your script as a guy and saying you're one of the last of the group who hasn't actually enrolled yet, if you have 60 seconds, pause. I'd like to share an idea with you. Got a minute? Got a minute? You're reasonable. I'm reasonable, right? Everyone who can say yes, who is like literally has a minute and has anything interested in what you have to say, they will say yes. Remember I said if you read the script one way, and I'm not getting down on him, I respect him greatly for getting up here, by the way, because he raised his hand up. The first person to pop his hand was him. Okay, I respect that, because no one cares whether you could do something well or not. All they care about is your heart, and this guy's got a heart. He will be a closer, for sure. So the bottom line is this, okay? You say something my way. Let's say we speak to 100 people, okay? And I do it this way. What percentage of the people you think that are closable will come forward with me? What percentage? Close to 100. Okay, if I read it my way. If he reads it his way, he might get 15 or 20% of the people to move forward. because he hasn't captured their imagination and he hasn't established these three things. And if they do move forward, he has a significant uphill battle to fight because they know he's really not these three things. And now he's got to make such a case, such an airtight logical case, such an airtight emotional case. It's an uphill battle. You're not a closer, you're not an influencer, and you'll be killing yourself as a salesperson. So, and I'm going to tell you a story. This is a great story. And by the way, you're somewhere in between. Like you're a little bit higher up in terms of your tonality, is a bit more advanced, but still there's a lot of things that you're not capturing, and it's so easy to do. This is the point I'm making. This is like a learned skill. I don't have some magic bullet that I was born with. Yeah, I got it, but the point is it transfers to anybody. I could sit with any one of you for 2 or 3 hours, and as long as you will commit, remember I said in the beginning, you want to have a burning desire, take opportunity, right? Follow a proven system. Like I said, if you have those, anyone can learn it. The only people that can't are those that don't really care to. They don't care about money. And by the way, let's just clear this up right now. Money matters. And anyone who tells you it doesn't is full of crap. They never had any. Money is not evil. Money doesn't corrupt people. Money's a beautiful, wonderful thing. You know, rich is good. Your middle name should be, I'm rich, Mr. Rich, right? When you're rich, you can do things to help people. You can be the guy that donates the x-ray machine to the hospital or who builds the wing of the hospital. You can take care of your family, retire the people that you love, have an impact on the world. The most disempowering state is poverty. What can you do when you're in poverty? Look at it this way. There's no amount of poverty you can have in your life to make one other person wealthy. There's no amount of sadness you can have in your life to make one person happy. There's no amount of sickness you can have to make one person healthy. If you want to make the world a happier, healthier, wealthier place, what you do is simple. You get as much of those gifts as you can for yourself, and you spread them around. That's called a reframe. You have any limiting beliefs about money, squash them. They're crap. Whatever was fed to you when we were this big, someone was fed limiting beliefs that money might corrupt in some way or it's evil. Money's a beautiful, wonderful thing. Now, does that mean you're not going to have problems? No, you have more problems when you have rich because you got more stuff going on. But you get to show up to your problems in style. In a limousine, in a nice watch, in a beautiful suit, right? That's what money does. You show up to your problems in style. So wipe that out of your head. Money is beautiful. It's wonderful. Get money and then give it away. Take as much as you need for yourself, then you spread the wealth around. And then more money comes to you. That's a state of abundance versus scarcity. Like, I got to grab every penny, okay? To how you perceive money in this world, okay, and your own goals for money will dictate where you go in life with money. Just imagine it this way. If you know, money doesn't really matter. Oh, really? Just imagine if you're in a marriage, you say, well, my wife doesn't really matter. How long is she going to stick around? Well, how long is money going to stick around if you don't think it matters? It's going to go like your wife or your husband. Money matters. Closing matters. Because closing, remember the funnel? Closing and prospecting and dialing leads to money. Okay? And it starts right here. So here's the deal, okay? We'll do it one more time. Start from the top. Hi, it's John there.
Hi, it's John there.
Better than he was before? A lot better. Okay? Give the man a round of applause. Okay? Bingo. Okay? Is he going to close sales? No. Okay? Did he create an image? Yes. Okay? He's enthusiastic. He might have something. Next, go. Hi, John. Let's hear it.
Hi, John. This is Paul calling from Global Capital in Tampa, Florida. How's it going today?
Okay, close. Ready? You were good up to the point you said Global Capital. You declared. Global Capital, he's like, so the fuck what? Okay? That's what he's, when you say Global Capital with a downbeat, mistake. You did it all great. Say, hi, John, this is Jordan calling from Global Capital in Tampa, Florida. Let me hear your upbeats. Go, do it again. Hi, John.
Hi, John. This is Paul calling from Global Capital in Tampa, Florida. How's it going today?
Give the man a round of applause, okay? Bingo, okay? Say, great, now.
Great, now.
Now your eyes, now mystery, right?
If you can recall...
No, now, great, now, listen to me, ready? Great, now, if you recall...
Great, now, if you recall, you attended a seminar last Thursday night over at the Marriott Hotel with one of our top Forex
Don't worry.
one of our top Forex traders, James Arnell. Does that ring a bell?
Getting better now. I want you to listen to me. Ready? Say, one of our top Forex traders. Up, right. James Arnell. Does that ring a bell? I'm going to hear three go. Over at the Marriott Hotel with one of our top, let's hear the right from there. Over at the Marriott Hotel, let's hear it.
Over at the Marriott Hotel with one of our...
Okay, here's the problem. He's up. He sounds like he's a songbird almost, right? Okay? The problem is you need to start your tonality lower. You need to give yourself room to manage. Remember, you're managing tonality within a range. Learn your range. Okay? If you have a deep voice, you got to start, if you want to go up, you got to start very low, okay? So you might start here. You say, now, if you recall, you attended a seminar last Thursday night over at the Marriott Hotel with one of our top Forex traders, James Arnell. Does that ring a bell? See the tonality? Do it again. Start here. You attended a seminar? You attended a seminar?
You attended a seminar last Thursday night over at the Marriott Hotel with one of our top Forex traders, James Arnell. Does that ring a bell?
Bingo. On the money. Okay? Now let's move forward. Okay, great.
Okay, great. Well, the reason for
Stop. Okay, great. Well, not the reason. Well, the reason. There's a reason for the call today. Okay, this is the major transition to say, I got something for you. I'm not just calling to say hello. I'm calling to sell you something. That's really what you're saying right here. Okay? Well, the reason for the call today, I didn't call you yesterday. I didn't call you tomorrow. I called you right now for a reason. And my tonality drops, but is there power behind it? It's not like the reason for the call today. No, it's the reason for the call. They feel it, it's there, okay? I have that tonality there. My voice is low, but my fist is clenched, boom, waiting to be unleashed. It keeps them in line. They know. They know. They know those things, okay? So say, great. Now, well, the reason for the call is here.
Okay, great. Well, the reason for the call today is...
Okay, hit R. Well, the reason, give me a big R there. Hell.
The reason
for the call today.
For the call today is that you're
one of the
last...
Say one of the last of the group.
One of the last of the group who haven't actually enrolled yet. And if you have 60 seconds, I'd like to share an idea with you. Got a minute?
Okay, you have 60 seconds. Here, watch, ready? Reasonable man, ready? You have 60 seconds, what's the words? Listen, if you have 60 seconds, if you have 60 seconds, okay, they're like, oh my God, a salesman. Or if you have 60 seconds and the unspoken words that I've just said are, write this down, which everybody has. If you have 60 seconds, which everyone has, I'd like to share an idea with you. No big deal. Got a minute? I'm a reasonable guy. You've said all that. You don't realize it. Or you haven't said it, and you're wondering why they don't want to move forward. You get it? It's that simple. Okay? Let's hear it at the end. Okay, great. Well, the reason for the call today.
Okay, great. Well, the reason for the call today.
Well, the reason for the call today.
Well, the reason...
Stop hard. Well, say well louder.
Well, the reason for the call today is that you're one of the last
of the group
who haven't actually enrolled yet. And if you have 60 seconds...
Seconds,
I'd like to share an idea with you. You got a minute?
Good. Let's give him a round of applause. That's great. You did well. Let's go and do real quick now, okay? Hi, is John there?
Hi, is John there?
Right here.
Hi, John. This is John Langmuth, and I'm calling from Global Capital in Tampa, Florida. How's it going today?
Try your global, you said Global Capital, Tampa, Florida. He's like, so? Or Global Capital, Tampa, Florida. He's like, let me search my memory banks. That's what he's saying to himself when you raise up. He can't help it. Can't help it. He's doing it because we were trained since we're this big, okay, to try to be quick on the uptake. We want to be known as being quick on the uptake. So when you ask someone a micro question like that, they feel, yeah, or not, big deal. Two different emotions have been created. And remember, again, we're in the first paragraph. Just imagine when you're saying to the guy, all I'm asking for this, give me one shot, it's $3,000. Sound fair enough? If you're doing the wrong tonality, then you will never close. But if you're saying, give me one shot and believe me, you will not be sorry. Sound fair enough? I'm a reasonable guy. Same shit. Okay, I'm a reasonable guy. Right? the same thing goes at the end of the sale when you're closing. When you're going to close, you're going to do it in the reasonable man tone. Not like, give me a shot and you will not be sorry. Fair enough? He's like, oh my God. The guy's like, wants to run away. You know, versus, you know, believe me, loan modification. You know, do all mess with you. Give me one shot and believe me. The only problem you'll have is I didn't call you 6 months ago and do it then. Sound fair enough? Which is better. Or give me one shot. The only problem I didn't call you 6 months ago, I would have got you started dead. Fair enough? He's going to say, what an ass. Okay? Or the only problem you're going to have is I didn't call you 6 months ago and do this for you then. Sound fair enough? You've said there's so much. I care about you. I care about your family. I'm going to help you put control in your life. And I am an expert. They all want to deal with the expert. This is what tonality, the straight line, is tonality and structure. Tonality and structure. To move somebody's emotions down the line with the appropriate tonality, to have them right where you want them, not in an evil, manipulative way, in a way that empowers them to make a good decision. You will never use this to manipulate somebody, because now I think you can start seeing you could use it to manipulate someone to make a bad decision, especially when you learn the art of looping, which we'll go through later, which is crazy, okay? When you break their buying beliefs down, okay? So you do this only to empower people. That's the message here, okay? So let's move forward here. Great, say great. Now, if you're, let's do it again from the top. Hi, is John there?
Hi, is John there?
Right here.
Hi, John. This is John Magnus, calling from Global Capital in Tampa, Florida. How's it going today?
Good.
Great. Now, if you call, you attend.
Say stop. Do it again. Great. Now, if you recall, great. Now, if you recall, mystery guys, because they're going to say, no, I don't recall, if you do it wrong. And if you'll, now, if you recall, which you should, and you don't want to be thought as being slow on the uptake now, do you? Now, if you recall, like most reasonable people do, like most smart people do, can't say that. You can say to the guy, now, if you recall, because you're not a fool, that you attended the seminar you can't say it. But you can imply it with your tone, okay? And you manage the sale, and you move. Do you understand what's happening here? You're moving. It's always about moving forward towards a close. You're closing from word one, or qualifying them out and directing them to the right source where they can get what they need. That's when you're really operating at the highest level of sales and ethics at the same time. Simple as that, okay? So great, now we're here. Great. Now, if you recall,
you attended a seminar last Thursday night at the Marriott Hotel with one of our top Forex traders, James Arnell. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, the reason for the call today...
Stop. Well, okay, a lot of the mistakes I'm hearing right now mostly have to do with not using well as a transition word. Make this easy for yourself by giving well some power. If you know your next word, that's why you need to have a script that you stick to. Okay, because you know what your next word is going to be. If you know your next phrase is going to be for scarcity or secrecy, right? Well, then give yourself room. Say, you're not going to say, well, the reason, you have nowhere to go. You say, well, then all of a sudden, whoop, you drop down to the reason for the call today. And they're like, what? They're like instantly the human ear, they zero in, okay, and you pass that little transition to where you're a salesman now, to like they're listening, they're just listening. You get it? They don't want to miss it. Okay? Say, great, well, the reason for the call today.
Okay, great. Well, the reason for the call today is that you're one of the last of the group who hasn't actually enrolled yet. And if you have...
By the way, what did she do that was beautiful there? She just did something that I wasn't even doing that effectively. I knew it. I was almost going to stop myself before, but I figured I would deal with it later. She just did something really powerful there. She said, like this. She said, here's our tonality. She goes, you're one of the last of the group who hasn't actually enrolled yet. That's how I said it, which was wrong, by the way. And I was going to correct it, but I didn't, okay? She said, who hasn't actually enrolled yet. She's like, isn't that great? In other words, she said it in a way, and it's such a, guys, it's a minor, girls, it's a minor point, but don't kid yourself. One more emotional in there brings them forward, and you're going to use that same thing she did about, isn't that great? Like in the same way you say, getting started is very simple. Just a question of your name, social security number. Isn't that great? How easy it is? So that little trick she pulled there, unconscious, that's called unconscious. She didn't plan. She unconsciously knew that the right tonality there was that, and she did it. Now you have to learn to be able to harness that tonality anywhere you want to create the emotion and move it forward. So I'm picking out little micro stuff because you're going to use it later on. You'll see later, you're like, oh my God. When you're closing, you're like, oh, you boy. I'll say stuff. Sometimes when I do this exercise, people say, that is the sickest thing I've ever heard. When I do the close, because you start seeing how, combine like secrecy, scarcity, and the reasonable man all in one shot. And it's like, and the guy's like, yes. He said, my name is, and he's filling out the application. Okay, but don't do it unless you should be filling out the application, okay? So real quick, I said it 50th time today, right? Okay, so say, great, actually enrolled yet? Go from there. Say, who hasn't actually enrolled yet?
Who hasn't actually enrolled yet? And if you have 60 seconds, I'd like to share an idea with you. Got a minute?
Okay, that was not right, because then she's like, you have 60 seconds, I like that. Great, that's not great. No one wants to waste 60 seconds of their life with anybody other than the people they love. So you have 60 seconds, I'd like to share, isn't that great? No, it's not great. What is great, okay, so you haven't enrolled yet, and I'm giving you an opportunity. That's great. If it could happen instantly for free, it would be even greater. But this is certainly 60 seconds, no. And if you have 60 seconds, now you're in a reasonable man tone, which anybody has. I'd like to share an idea with you. No big deal. Got a minute? We all do. Different emotion. 4 words later, you've switched to a new emotion. That's what people that are great closers do, automatically. But you can do it. Even if you're not a great nat, you can do it. You just learn it, and you're like, boom, it becomes unconsciously competent, and you're always doing it. Changes your life. Great. So if you have 60 seconds, say, great, it hasn't actually. So 60 seconds, which we all do, I'd like to share the idea with you. No big deal. Got a minute? We're both reasonable people. Let's hear it. Just like that. That's what you're saying, really. Okay, so let's hear it. Who hasn't actually enrolled yet?
Who hasn't actually enrolled yet? And you have 60 seconds. I'd like to share an idea with you. Got a minute?
Perfect. Let's give these two a big round of applause. Thanks very much. Excellent. Thank you very much. So what do you think? Tonality, right? It's the key to everything. When you lower your voice, people will listen. If you raise your voice, it has some power, but only for a short while. When you really want to influence somebody, you whisper. Create scarcity, secrecy, and people will really respond to that. Now take this to the streets, as I said, and I want you to go out there and act on this one. This is something that you don't have to really think that much about. Just in your mind, just be conscious. There are certain key moments where you pause. There are certain times when you group your words together and become a person that speaks like an influencer. So I tell a story about how a guy at the checkout line is working the cash register. Well, he's a salesperson too. He's selling people cans of Campbell's soup and hairbrushes and toothpaste, right? He gets paid, what's minimum wage, just $6, $7 an hour? That's what you get paid for transactional sales. As an influencer, using your tonality and the structure of the straight line, the amount of money you make could be staggering. So I just want to make sure that's what you took out of that session. What we're talking about here is becoming an extraordinary influencer. And at the heart of that is your tonality. And if you're in person, also remember your body language. Remember the eye contact, how important that is. Shaking hands in an authoritative way, but not, not shaking someone like a rag doll, because people don't respond to that sort of stuff. But again, the key here is to take specific actions in the real world, to go out there, not just conceptually, but when you speak to people, speak to them like an influencer. And remember that kill zone, that sort of 1% inflection that makes the real difference, to raise your voice up in a certain time, to inspire someone to start searching their memory for something so they don't start, working against you with their unconscious dialogue. All those little tools and techniques that you just heard about, they will be remarkably effective, not just in your business life, but in your entire life. Whether it's with your spouse, and I urge you, by the way, with a spouse or a loved one, only use it to empower them, to make them, feel more confident about themselves. Don't work against people like that, because at the heart of this whole thing, remember, is ethics and integrity, to influence people who should be influenced. Because when they do make the decision finally, it was in their best interest, and it empowers them and helps them get propelled to wealth and success.